You don't have to go like, you just boom, boom. So check this out, $12. A 3D printed, high quality box, which sits perfect. Come on, it's incredible. You can get this other piece. This slides in like this. All right, and it just sits here like that. It covers the hole, and it fixes the problem. We actually filmed in a Blender commercial, and I thought it was going to be cool to actually use this filter today and test it out and show you guys the final result using my setup of lenses. And the whole video was shot sunny, bright day using the Canon ND filter. What is up, you guys? Right now I'm using a Tiffin variable ND filter with my Canon EOS R5, and this is 16-35. Well, first of all, why am I even using this? Why do we use variable ND filters? I actually made a whole video about it, which is up here, but long story short, it's pretty much sunglasses for your lens, and it is to maintain 180-degree rule, which is, let's say if you're shooting like me right now, 24 frames per second, your shutter speed should be double of the frame rate, which is 1/50th of a frame rate, 1/50th of a second, and your ISO is the lowest, which is in my case 400, because I'm shooting C-Log 3, which is the lowest ISO you should shoot to get the most dynamic range. I hope that all makes sense. If it didn't, please watch my video up here and let's move on. My god, this has been just sitting here like this. It's just stressing me out. I've been using these type of filters for as long as I can remember. Right now I actually have this one on the Tiffin. I have a Freewell Pro. This is 2 to 5 stop. There are non-variable, which is for example just 2, 5, 10 stops. They are variable like these, where you spin them and then they become clear or not. The pain about these filters, you have to have like 10 of them. If you have different lenses, you have 35, 2470, 85, they all have different filter threads. So you end up having a bunch of these filters for each lens, and you have to swap them out all the time. That's the biggest issue, other than probably this other little thing. You tend to have vignetting on the lenses like these, where it's wide angle. I'm shooting all the way wide right now, 16, and you will get vignetting on the sides because the filter sits in front of the lens, so there's more chances compared to, let's say, like a cinema camera where the filter is in front of the lens. Also, and that's a big one, on variable NDs like these, when you start rotating them to get correct exposure, watch what happens. So I'm gonna turn this, and you see what's happening? You get these lines. So for example, if I like my exposure right here, I won't be able to get it because you get these weird lines. You'll be able to be only here or here, so you're missing like 2 stops. I could be overexposed, I could be underexposed, and that's what happens. And if you go down, you get vignetting 100%. So I finally decided to pull the trigger because these filters, they just don't make sense. They end up costing so much because each filter is like $150, and you're gonna have at least 3 filters for your setup. So I finally got a filter from Canon which sits in front of the lens. I think it's actually the greatest invention, with some quirks I wish they would fix, but we're gonna talk about it in a few. Let me show you. I'm gonna switch to it in 3, 2, 1. Alright, right now I'm using the Canon filter that sits in front of the lens. It's a $400 filter, but it's one filter that you're only gonna need. You don't need all these other filters that I've been using. Just one filter. The biggest advantage, other than you don't need to carry all these, but you just have one filter, it doesn't have vignetting. Look, if I'm gonna start spinning this, it's actually a little dial on the filter itself. It's so cool. Look what happens. It gets brighter or it just gets darker. You don't get these weird lines. You see that? That's amazing. I'm clearly exposed. This all the way white, sunny day, 16 to 35. There's no vignetting whatsoever. Look, I'll go anywhere. It doesn't vignette. That's the best part. Now there are a couple downsides. First of all, this will only work with your EF lenses, which is actually perfect for me because I don't own any RF lens, and I just decided to keep all my old setup. I love my old lenses, but I love EF mount. I don't think there's a reason to update for me to RF because I don't see the benefits to spend like 3 grand on each lens. I'm good. Second, the way it comes. Come on, man. Come on, Canon. You could do better than that. This is pretty much your adapter, right? Like regular EF to RF. So that is your filter, but it has a hole where the filter sits. And the problem is, when you take out the filter, you get an empty hole. And to cover it, they make you buy another filter, which is 150 bucks. So you take that one out, you put that one in, $150. Now that's not the end of the story. Once you put that one in to cover the hole, where are you gonna put this one? Nowhere. The filter comes with this bag. That's it. You're not gonna throw in the... Come on, man. The filters... You know, like you get a little package for these type of filters, right? You throw them in, you have like a little sleeve. Come on, Canon, just like include a free little package, a free little, I don't know, box. Or maybe like the polarizing filter, the $150 one. That should just come for free. Come on, like just make a little thing that just slides in and it's actually empty hole. Make it work. I've seen some people saying that without the filter at all, with an empty hole, the autofocus doesn't work. It works. So I found a little solution. It might work for you guys. I found this guy on eBay. He's selling this little set. It's printed on 3D printer. Now hear me out. It's 12 bucks. This is what you get for $12. It's perfect. It comes with this 3D printed high quality box. Like literally it's a one piece. You see how strong this is? It's not gonna break. And the filter just slides in here perfectly. So here's your box. Now that's not the end of the story. It comes with this other thing that snaps onto your... Let me swap out to my old filter so I can actually show you guys. When you take this out and let's say you buy a $150 polarizing filter, you end up with this little piece, which is expensive. You don't want to just... You know, by the way, check this out. It's so cool. Like, that's when I was saying, like, this is pretty much sunglasses for your lens. You see what it's doing? Oh yeah, and this is so cool. It actually stops, so it doesn't continuously roll like some of these threaded on filters I don't like, because they just continuously spin. But here, you just rotate it and it stops to complete stop at a 10, and it stops on the other side at a 2. And it's pretty quick. You see, like, you can, with one touch, you go through the whole spin from 2 to 10 with one touch. That's great, I think. You don't have to go like, You just boom, boom. So check this out. $12. A 3D printed high quality box, which sits perfect. Come on. It's incredible. By the way, I'm gonna link the guy who's selling these. I'm not getting any commission or anything out of this, but I just thought it was cool and I wanted to share. Let's say, when you're not using it, right? You put it in a little box, and that's the hole that I've been telling you guys about. You get this other piece. This slides in like this. All right? And it just sits here like that. It covers the hole and it fixes the problem. And it even has like these things where you can put like a rubber band to have it even tighter, but it feels pretty tight to me. Now, would I use it all the time? No, especially like on my travels and like trips when it's like raining stuff, because this is definitely not weather sealed. Like, you can actually hear some wiggle. But let's say if I'm doing a quick shoot and the weather is good and it does the job, it covers the hole, it sits there. If you want, you can put a rubber band around. It looks nice too. I think that's pretty cool. I think this guy should patent it and just sell it and make it a product. Come on, Canon, you could come up with something like that too. And the plastic is really high quality. And that is how you put it back in. So you gotta make sure you align it, because there are two sides of this story. And yeah, I think, yeah, there it is. It's snapped in, it sits there. No dust goes in, no light goes in. Sometimes with the variable in these, especially, when you have, let's say, when you film a phone or something like that, right? Like a screen, you're gonna get, you see what I'm saying? So unfortunately, all these filters do that, and let me actually switch it back to our Canon filter and I'll show you the same exact thing. See that? Same thing. Unfortunately, that happens with all the variable NDs. If you don't want that, you would have to get a regular ND, which doesn't spin, but that's kind of pain in the butt because you gotta have one like for ND2, ND4, ND6, ND10, and for every... Nah, it's okay. So yeah, that happened to me when I was filming inside of my car, and I have a giant monitor on my previous video about the Tesla. You can watch it here. It kind of sucks because I had to use variable ND, and my screen ended up having these weird rainbow lines. But you just gotta deal with it, or you gotta bump up the shutter and just forget about it. Final question, will I be using this as my daily setup? 100%. I will be using that filter all the time now from now on. I will actually be getting rid of these, the Tiffin and the Freewell, both of them, they're gonna go bye-bye. And in a scenario like this, I'll be using this little guy. But let's say when I'm traveling and the weather is a little crazy, I'll probably just be swapping out to my regular EF to RF, RF to EF, and that should work for me. Let me know what you guys think about the video. I'll link all my gear that we just talked about in the description. Also, don't forget to like this video. It really helps out a lot. If you just press that like button, that's all I'm asking for. Also, it would be amazing if you leave a comment as well. If you have a filter like this, let me know what you think. If you plan to get one, I'll answer all the questions. Don't forget to subscribe, and I will see you next time. Peace!